I don't know what that is. Why am I looking at nothing but black? Huh. Oh, hold on. There we go. It doesn't really pick it up that well, though, I gotta say. It makes it look like down here looks like a city. Like the light coming through the trees right there looks like it's like lights from a city, and then that's the sky. On the camera, not really, not from my view, though, but I can see it on the camera. It looks like that. No, it's not usually red like that, but it does go. It's like an optical illusion because I walked over there. No, it's not usually red like this. I knew it was like a lot of radiation because we both like zonked out. Yeah. Um, it gets real yellow there. And so one night I walked down there about what, 7, babe? And I'm like, okay, like you'd have to, if you took one of these trails, you might get that yellow stuff, but it looks actually better through the trees from here than it does when you walk down because there's a lake down there. That's a beach. Comes to park ranges. So we just had dinner. Oh, am I totally in the way of thing now? I can go on this side, babe. I'll just bring my drink over here. Hmm? Oh, okay. I usually don't nap in the daytime, but I fell asleep for, I don't know, a half hour. And I knew it wasn't good to. Yeah, you feel worse when you get up like that. You feel like a truck hit you. Remember those days taking naps in the afternoon? When you can't sleep until you wake yourself up, yeah. Like if you get woken up or like you think you have to get up because clearly it was 6 o'clock. We only have another hour and a half maybe of sunlight. So I had to get up and cook dinner. It's really not a big deal. One thing I just noticed I was going to say to you, babe, um, I'm not going to keep this on all night, don't worry. I haven't really noticed anybody else using the wash station lately. Yeah, hopefully they're eating something. It's, I hate to be nosy, just you notice they're not washing dishes, but I will say this: you could actually camp without ever washing a dish. When we went to Wampatuck the first time, that was like October of 2024. I had like one fork, one spoon, and I had the bread dish that I was boiling the water in, and I put those in the hot water. I didn't even go to a wash station. Yeah, I didn't have any dish soap. Why would I go to a wash station? I didn't have a cloth. I didn't have dish soap. I'm lucky I had anything because my sister provided stuff. Yeah. No, you know what? I'm mixing it up with alpaca. But I don't remember washing dishes at Wampatuck either when my sister gave us that stuff. Yeah, I don't think I washed dishes. She gave us this little black thing, and it was good because it was black, almost like a cast iron. So I don't think they get black like that. It's something to do with tin. I don't remember getting filthy from that thing. Yeah. Like, I don't remember getting dirty from that thing. So the black stuff like that, I don't think it does it from the fire. So anyway, it was the small one, but it was enough to do like a cup of coffee, and it boiled real fast. But I didn't wash dishes then either. Um, and I think I was basically cooking with tinfoil. I remember doing shish kebab. Yeah, like it's probably the longer you camp, the more sort of inventive you get, because how many hot dogs and hamburgers can you eat? The burrito thing is easy. If you anyone's out there, still you can still camp till October 12th is the last night in Massachusetts with the state parks. Okay, unless you want to start paying out the wazoo for the private campgrounds, and I don't even think you can camp there. Like I'm tenting. I'm a tent camper. Like if I was homeless and I could get somehow a trailer, my issue is pulling the thing around, like because of the cost of a vehicle and my morality about driving. But anyway, if someone just donated me one, I would take it, right? And then if wherever I had to drive it, I would only do it for that. I wouldn't drive it to get food. Nope. I don't know unless it was if I could live in a secluded place. If someone said, "Look, we're gonna let you go live at Yosemite or something like that," um, I would only drive it probably once every week or once every 2 weeks because it's winter time. You don't need as much ice, that type of stuff. Yeah, I would not be driving that thing around every day. But anyways, if I could, like, say there was a place where you could just rent a trailer, that's my house. That's not really camping to me. I'm a tent person, yeah, and I don't do air mattresses unless I'm cutting it and putting it on top of the tent or putting it underneath the tent that's deflated because the ones I get are out of the trash barrel. This one I'm assuming is broken, but I haven't plugged it in to check. But because it's used and it was in a trash barrel, I would put it underneath the tent. I just haven't done it yet. Yeah, I guess tomorrow would be the day to do it, babe, because we're only here for one more week. Yeah, today's Wednesday. I don't want to keep thinking about it, but right. So next Wednesday would be our last night. It's worth it for a week to be a little bit more comfortable on the ground. But yeah, I'm a tent person. I like sleeping bags and blankets and stuff. We didn't even have sleeping bags the first time we went to Wampatuck. We had blankets. So some people probably just sleep straight in a tent with their clothes on. Like homeless people bundle up a lot, and if you have to carry all your stuff, right, blankets and sleeping bags become another thing you have to carry. So if they had like a tiny tent, I could see them just popping it up, climbing in it, and sleeping in it, and then climbing out of it. I bought myself a rope. The last time we went to Harold Parker, I think it was $2. I think I got it Ocean State. It was either Ocean State or Walmart. I knew to get a rope, right, so you could wash out your clothes and hang them up, or if something gets wet, and then your towel after you use it. We didn't have towels. I didn't have a towel till I got a towel at Friday Cafe. I used my clothes. Yeah, like if you were gonna live like this long term, I'd have more than two outfits, but I've pretty much been wearing like I think I have three pairs of shorts. Like it's the same sweatshirt. We went to the laundromat this time because it had been a whole month that it like I was washing out stuff, but like washing out a sweatshirt. I think I did Brian's, but we wanted to wash the sleeping bags. Yeah, and then we purchased a blanket at the the Salvation Army store. We do have blankets in our storage. Some of them have to be laundered, so we're going to be doing that when we get back because of sleeping on the ground. We have actually a much warmer sleeping bag in this in storage. Donation. Yeah, all four sleeping bags we have are all donated. One of the tents was donated. That's an awesome tent. If someone offers you that, take it, the blue one, because I told you it's waterproof. That thing's been through some heavy, heavy rain. It's just definitely waterproof. And that all weather thing I told you about, that's a winter tent right there. Right now it's a supply tent, but that's a winter tent. Yeah, in the summer you might have not have liked it because you can't really hang out in that thing. But oh, now all of a sudden tonight there's a couple mosquitoes. But yeah, we didn't have that awesome red sky until tonight. I would have noticed that. I'm a sky person. It looks kind of still nice over there. Yeah, it looks like a city. See, it's not. It's a forest with the sunset. It's not, but that's cool. It looks like Albuquerque for a second. Just a mattress on the side of the road. Like if anyone ever even just drove out of curiosity and went, wow, it's all sand with some scattered. It's a desert. Uh, just put the sleeping bag over your head and go to sleep. I guess after about the first night, I figured no one was going to say anything to me, and they didn't. The cardboard box night, oh God. Someone did, they asked me why I went up there, and I said, I don't know. I just had to get away from here. And I just wouldn't go back down there. Just huffing in a cardboard box, getting like, I don't know, maybe a 30 seconds of sleep, and you wake up because you're so cold. It definitely has not been as many people. I was just saying to Brian, tomorrow's Thursday. I checked, and someone's supposed to be next to us. I think it's Friday for just the weekend because it's Labor Day weekend. So it's nicer now. Yeah, there's not as many people. Um, it's a state park, but yeah, it's basically belongs to the town. I would assume. I mean, if I lived in Taunton, I might. Like it's a good destination to walk to, or say you can't stand all the traffic. I don't want to get people in trouble, but there's a parking lot and they park on the side of the thing before the camping station. Yeah, it's open until sunset. Uh, I think there's other places to walk besides the campground, but there is a beach. But I noticed on the map, it does say the campers beach, by the way. There's only so much that park rangers are going to do. Right. Just they put up notices, please don't do this. Like I know, I think it's both Harold Parker, Pearl Hill, and I'm not sure about Wampatuck, but they ask you not to wash your dishes in the bathroom sink because they have wash stations. And back in the day, people boiled water, like you brought a container and boiled water and washed it at your campsite. They did. I don't think they had wash stations. My mother never did that. Right, but they do have wash stations. They ask you to please keep the sink clean. That became an issue at Wampatuck. Um, they've never said anything to me about washing out my clothes in the bathroom sink. Just don't wash your dishes in there because that is kind of gross. It's a bathroom sink. Get it? Like you really don't want to wash your dishes in there. I wouldn't wash clothes in the wash station either, even though the water's hotter. I wouldn't do it because people are washing their food dishes in there. That's gross for them and me. Right. So I don't know, my mother probably went to a laundromat. I know when she camped after the divorce, they went to a laundromat, I specifically remember that, and they hated it. So they must have only gone, like, once every 2 weeks or something, and there was a bunch of people. It was all, like, kids and a couple of adults. I just remember that, like, laundry was the bad word. With however many letters are in the word laundry, that's what they would say because they hated it. They hated going to a laundromat. It's right next to the, Salvation Army store. I lamented over a couple of pieces. I know today's Wednesday, I think they have half off. I'm sure the stuff's gone because we were there Friday, and of course, I looked to see what they had for luggage because of my trip, and then when we went back, was it yesterday, babe? It was yesterday, right? When we took that walk and went to the Salvation Army store again? Oh, yeah, the stuff was wicked nice. I know I'm gonna regret at least not getting one of them, the one that I was gonna get for him, because it was a wicked nice one, and I go, "You know that people are gonna buy this stuff that don't even need it, right?" We were like, "This is nice, but how are we gonna get all of our stuff and this back to the" right? Because we gotta walk it from here. We probably could have done it, but then we gotta take a lift from here to the train, and then we have to take that train from South Station to our storage. It's a different train. It's my storage is right next to that train station, so it's yeah, once we're at the train station, basically, once we're at the beginning of the park when we leave, yeah, it's just loading up a lift, getting on a commuter rail, getting from South Station on the red line, getting to our storage. Yeah, so I don't really have a comment about the shooting. Isn't it a couple of shootings, babe? Wasn't there a pretend one though the other day at some school and it wasn't real? Okay. Yeah, because like I said, if people's children were murdered, I don't have a comment about that. Right. Um, they have to drive. You could go into a thing about what about the driving and giving people cancer with the free electrons. I don't think that's appropriate anymore. Especially before I have my social security or housing or both. I mean, maybe if I get my social security approved since the housing isn't working out. Um, I've discussed with my husband a bunch of times about leaving Massachusetts because I don't have to stay in Massachusetts once I have social security, and it's clearly not working out for housing or year-round camping here. Okay, so um, there's other places on the land piece to live where you can rent a trailer and stuff. Hopefully, um, hopefully he'll get his social security too, but we would have to give up his income if we left here until he gets social security. Okay, it can be a very long process, and I really don't. I'm not willing to wait and sleep on the ground waiting for his social security. Mine's taken this long. It's a federal thing. You just as soon as we move to another place, you go right to that social security office and set up new providers and everything. Right. I'm sure that you can't be expected to stay in Massachusetts when you've been homeless for 14 and a half years and no one will give you housing. So it's a very expensive state to live in. All of New England is. After going to Florida, I can't really see going to Florida, but life is a different story apparently when you have money and you're 55. Yeah, because they do have housing for people that are 55. They have affordable housing. Okay, so there's people that collect Social Security and get a Section 8, and they still only paying 30% of that. I can't even see going that avenue. because I can imagine the wait list in every state. Dude, I guess if you live in a trailer and put yourself on a waiting list and you wait 20 years. Trailer parks all over the country, as far as I know. You always hear about that during a hurricane and flooding, don't you? Yep. Brian doesn't like really staying up past the dark time. If I'm burning a fire, I kind of do sometimes, yeah. So the internet works out here too. I actually do have a little bit of wood on the fire. It's not a ton. Um, Hopefully people saw that video. I'll try to see if I can upload it again because um, it's okay, babe. It's superty duper cool. Uh, nope, God does it. It totally looks like two sticks and a X, and then the tips of them are burning. And I think that's some sort of a thing, isn't it? But it's like gun barrels and what, babe? Okay, yeah, I was gonna put the strawberries in there now and put my long pants on because the mosquitoes. Oh my goodness. Did anybody see the video from Wampatuck? That piece of wood? It looked like I was roasting something. Oh yeah, like it looked like eyeballs and stuff. I was like, what the heck? Love campfires. Love campfires. There isn't really much brush here. Right. There really isn't. People have really been like, I guess, camping and burning that stuff because it was nothing like it was the last time I went camping over at the Wampatuck. It's good because that stuff will go up like a piece of paper. Right. So you don't cut anything down. That wood isn't going to burn anyway. I noticed at Wampatuck because when people leave their campsite, I walk around. I left any wood. Put these pants on. I didn't shut it off, did I? I have to put long pants on because of the mosquitoes. So that really will do it, by the way, if you wear a long sleeve shirt, socks, and long pants. Unless you're a pearl filled. Anyways, um, I do. I walk around after 11 because that's when people have to check out by. And you'd be surprised how many people do actually leave wood. Right. So but I noticed at Wampatuck that people had, it appeared to me, cut down live tree branches, and I was like, why would any? And then it dawned on me afterwards, maybe they were going to try to make a teepee. Yeah, because you just bend and bend the thing and it won't break, and it won't actually really burn either, unless you've got like a raging fire going. I wonder if that's what they were trying to do. Okay, please don't do that in a state forest. Okay. I know a guy made a thing. I don't know where he found the trees. I'm kind of thinking they don't want you doing that. But again, maybe ask them. Yeah. Um, one thing at Wampatuck too, there was, like, the site next to us, they clearly had cut down some trees, so if I had a hatchet, man, I just would have been like, because clearly someone was. Yeah, there was, like, plenty of firewood right there. Sometimes all of a sudden in a trail or something, you just find a bunch of stuff stacked up. Yeah, so it tends to burn a lot faster than the stuff that they sell. Yeah. Um, that stuff is really good for making, like, ambers. Yeah, and then you just keep putting basically other types of wood on top of it, and then that wood burns. Or, like, the smaller, the drier the pieces, the faster it burns. Um, you could say it was getting real low, you could put, like, a whole bunch of leaves on it, and then that will immediately go like that, and then you realize why you have to be careful in a forest with cigarettes, sparks, anything. Yeah, so, you can just put, like, a little bit more wood on top of that, and it will. In some sort of an emergency where you have no wood like that, you literally could burn enough leaves to cook food, just so you know. I've done it since I've been here. Like, when we first got here, I know that it rained before we got here, but something was going on in this fire pit where I could not get a fire to, like, stay a fire. And some of it has to do with the fact of this round. I know that's after being here almost a week now, I'm convinced of it. That's what it is. Yeah, because there's not enough air going into it because it's a solid round thing. So maybe people got frustrated. The sites that I see where they leave a stack of wood, which is kind of sad and depressing. Yeah, because they were probably like, I cannot keep a fire going. Like, what in the hell? It's because of these things. And they may have done it intentionally so that you're not making huge fires. They may have asked people a million times, because I know this from being young. Apparently, it's a foot. They don't want a fire way up high like that. Yeah, that's not new. I remember that from when I was young. Yeah, if it goes way too high, they don't want that. So this definitely controls that from happening. This is enough to make s'mores. You could cook hot dogs on a stick or s'mores with just the ambers like that. Right. Well, that's how they invented the charcoal, obviously. Does charcoal last longer? Nah, I'm not a charcoal person. I went over that yesterday. Sometimes we grow up doing something and then we just go. You just cook it with wood. Like, does it taste gross? So I use tinfoil. Right. So if you're scrubbing that or you're using your own rack on top of this rack, you might not like it. Yeah, I haven't done that. I can't tell you if it tastes like wood or not. But there's a thing called a real smoke wood barbecue. Some people like that, but you use like mesquite. Have you ever heard of mesquite? Okay. I lived in Texas briefly, so not to sound like I know it all because I don't. Just the only reason I know. They have mesquite trees there. That's what mesquite is. And so when you cook with that wood, it flavors the meat, and people like that. I learned something about wine when Tommy was trying to rebuild my mother's, what do you call that, a rack or something for the grapes. He used metal, and I just was looking at him, and I'm like, I don't know if that's, yeah, you have to use wood. But he just didn't know that. He thought it would be strong. It's going to get too hot, and it's too dry. So a grapevine, the wood stays moist when it rains, and so it keeps it moist. And then there's certain types of wood for different types of grapes. Like if you're making wine, it absorbs some of the flavor. Yeah. So live and learn, right, babe? I did notice this, and I don't know, was it hamburgers the first night we got here, babe? That's okay. Do you remember if we had hamburger the first night we were here? I don't know if it was something going on with me because Brian didn't really say anything about it, and he's like dead on like about food. If it's like, yeah, like something weird about it, he doesn't like the taste of it. He doesn't really keep that a secret. So it might have just been something going on with me. And I did use a lot of leaves, and it was when we first got here. And I was like, I don't know, did I make the food bitter from using leaves? But it was only that one time, and it was in tinfoil, yeah. So it might have just been me or just a weird thing. Oh yeah, the charger. Definitely can't forget that. You can take that with you if you want, babe, when you go in. The internet still works out here, and I'm not really staying out here that long, anyways. I guess I feel a little bit better now that I eat to you. I know last night, I was wondering if I was like really wanted to cook dinner. I felt like physically exhausted, and then I realize as I'm doing it, it's really easy to do. It really is. So then it's not a big deal doing it. And unlike cooking in an oven, it cooks way faster. You know how you put chicken in and it takes 45, 50 an hour to cook it? Not on a fire. It's not burnt either. It's like miraculous with the tinfoil. If you like your chicken, you know how some people cook chicken extra long and they like their skin like real crispy and stuff? You wouldn't like it like that. Yeah. You would want to bring your own probably like grill part of it. Like someone did this and left it and we used it for a while. It was like out of a toaster oven. So they were probably cooking right on it because they want like that flame flavor and they want their food to have that little bit of crisp to it. But what you could do, because I was talking to Brian about it, because I used to parboil chicken legs, then put barbecue sauce on them, then grill them. Okay. So you could do it in the tin foil till the chicken was cooked, right? Because the skin isn't going to be crispy. Then put barbecue sauce on it and then put it on one of those racks just to like heat it up and get it like that black, I guess. Don't try to just cook raw chicken right on a fire like that. Yeah, it's just like at the end. And then you'll get like the barbecue thing. I've made a tin foil bowl. I've made eggs in the thing. I've made tacos twice, but we use like the soft burrito, soft tacos. I've made tacos twice. Yeah, just regular tin foil. And obviously, if you get that heavy duty tin foil, it's even better. You just need basically triple it. Yeah, triple it. And then you do like corners and stuff. And then you just cook the hamburger and put a top over it, cook the hamburger. You crumble it all up, you use your thing, you put the taco seasoning in. I have that thing that boils water. You put a little bit of that, you put it back on the fire, and tacos. See you in a little bit, babe. I have my portable charger plugged into the bathroom. Okay, so I want to make sure I don't go to bed and forget it. It's not it wasn't totally dead, so I figured when I plugged in the laptop, I plugged it in, and the other one is fully charged. So that sort of gets me through. And then sometimes he lets me use his one of his portable chargers. He hasn't. He's been. I don't think he's really used his phone a lot in the past like 2 days. I don't remember him charging his chargers recently either. So tomorrow I'll have to see if he needs me to plug that thing in. I think he has two of them. What, babe? Oh, I thought you said something. Because I was talking about your portable chargers. I thought you were answering me. I was thinking I probably have to remind you to charge your chargers tomorrow. I don't think you charged any of your stuff today. Probably pretty much wearing them out, yeah. I still haven't got my hair color, so I'm waiting to like put that upon them. It's like, is there any way before Wednesday that we can walk back out there because I want to get a hair color? I don't really want to pay for a lift coming back though. Like we're not carrying anything but my hair color, and then maybe if you want to get an energy drink or something. But that's a big demand because I didn't do it when I went out there. I looked at the hair colors at that grocery store. They have like hardly any hair colors, and they're all like $14. I have literally no way to color my hair once I go back to the city. Yeah, just I suppose. I mean, I explained about having to pay off my trips. I suppose that would be an excuse to go camping again if I don't color it this time. There is no. It's a temporary shelter and it doesn't even open till October, and it's a lottery. Someone would say that maybe if you went into a shelter, just I don't know what they do because you check in, right? Couldn't you just color your hair, take a shower, and then leave? I don't know if people are still doing that. How would they not let you leave? That can be a tremendous hassle, but we do have a storage. So you just show up there with basically nothing, just your box of hair color. Some of the Father Bills people do. They try to tell you can't color your hair. They're insane. They're criminally deranged. You just tell a group of women they can't color their hair. That's why Jane Fonda went on a whole tirade about it. Obviously, they were telling people when we were at that hotel to go to a friend's house to color your hair. Yeah, how much you want to make a bet a friend isn't some staff member? Remember I told you that they were transporting people in their personal car from the shelter to that hotel? Yeah, tell me that wasn't going on, please. All of a sudden, you had a bunch of staff members that weren't working there anymore after I started talking about it. Anywho, um, the only person would be my sister, and I do have to pick up my Chromebook. So I'll talk to Brian about it. That's an idea. Yeah, she doesn't mind me coming there to pick it up. I'm not asking her to stay there, but I might go. I hate to ask this, but is there any way I can just color my hair and take a shower while I'm there? Because I literally have no way to color my hair. And yes, I know I should have done it when I was camping. It's a 2-hour walk to the CVS each way, and it's definitely not worth taking a lift back for that. So that would be a 4-hour walk. So that would be like basically the entire day. That would take about 5 hours. So yeah, I can't see him wanting to do that. That's why I haven't mentioned it to him yet. I did say something about I still didn't color my hair. I don't know if they still have those outside showers at Wollaston. I have done it there. Yeah. I used to have to shower there when I was living outside. I would just wear a bathing suit. If you can imagine that, forcing a woman, and this was years ago, so the shape I was in, forcing a woman that looks like me to put on a bathing suit and shower outside like that in full public view. I would soap up in the bathroom, okay? and then I'd go out in the bathing suit just to rinse off and wash my hair. And then I'd go wet back into the bathroom, take off the bathing suit, and put dry clothes on. I did it once at Nantasket too, but that water's ice cold. The water at Wollaston, at least it was hot. The outside showers. Yeah. I've washed my hair in a sink in a grocery store. Yeah, I did that once, I think. And that's when that woman, she didn't do it the day I washed my hair, but she just completely flipped out of my. It is a toilet. People aren't washing food in that sink. It's a public toilet in a grocery store because it had the big spout so it could fit my head under it. That was when I spent the 8 weeks. I went out to Dedham for a couple of nights, and no one said a word. No one at Starbucks, no one at both public libraries, no one at the place I was sleeping. Just the chick at Star Market because I was brushing my teeth. And I grew up in Dedham. My mother owned a house there for 50 years. I'm sure that woman has not lived in Dedham for 50 years. It's, it's sickening. That's why I understand my friend, and I'm glad that she's not angry at me because I didn't grow up in Cambridge. Right? She's from Cambridge and she's homeless out there, and clearly there's a lot of homeless people out there, and she's really good about it. The homeless people, not the people taking housing out there. That's completely understandable. Just for the record, in case you didn't know this about me, and some of it was not exactly intentional at the time. Okay. I've never bought someone else's house. I've never done that. Okay. Every time Alfred and I owned 3 different houses. They were all built. Okay. We never, because it's Florida, none of the trees were ever cut down. I just find it fascinating. Yeah, like no trees were cut down for us to build a house. Like clearly the materials, okay, but the land itself, there was 2 citrus trees, and someone else insisted that they rip them out of the ground. We didn't want them to, and they're like, "Oh, it's not edible fruit," blah 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 blah. The people that we bought trees from did it. Yeah, just for the record, we didn't even want that taken out. It was just an open field because the whole place had probably been like a citrus grove or something at some point, maybe, or just that piece of land didn't have any trees on it. Right. Some of the other side of Arrow Tree Reserve has trees like that, like big oaks. Right. Ours was on the lake and it didn't have any of that. It had, I think, a red maple right at the water line. Yeah. We tried to plant another one. It's like when something grows on its own, it really seems to do better than we planted a couple of magnolia trees. Uh, I think we planted a couple of crepe myrtles. Yeah, so just a little kind of funny thing about me, and I wouldn't say that at the time I was thinking that intentionally, but you look at these state forests and you go, oh my God, how is God going to fix this? Because clearly the whole state was like this. It's just, to me, it's kind of devastating just how on earth people would just think to just clear out forests and stuff like this and just put concrete and tar and houses and shopping centers and stuff and roads. It's beyond comprehension to me. And I've been like this since I was a little kid here. I remember walking to it may not have been kindergarten, but you'd be surprised. I think I actually did walk to and from school in kindergarten. First grade, just looking at stuff going, oh, there's progress. Like the thoughts in my head, if someone had ever talked to me, that probably would have been funny. Like, where is this coming from? Yeah, I didn't like it at all, and that was in the 1970s, the very early 1970s. I didn't like the town of Dedham, like, because everything had been built up. Um, so I think a lot of people feel like that when they're driving on highways and stuff, and just when they see more and more construction, you just like this estates at Massasoit, you just go, what? There isn't even a tree here. It's like Florida. You just go, what on earth? Like, what are these people paying to live on a postage stamp like that? God left alone. Yep. Is that what it is? God left alone? There's only one good, and that's God alone, right? Who made this? I really can't say if it would seem that I probably did that before, since it seemed like crystal clear. It wasn't sort of like mixed up. Just walking around Boston in 2011. I'm on a walkabout? Okay, because I was like, how are you doing that? Like the buildings looked like they were see through. It looked like you could see through the buildings. And I go, how are you doing that? Like I'm actually asking God, how are you doing that? Like basically, how am I seeing it like that? How are you doing that? And then it's like he's explained to me that it's not real. And when I before I came up here, when I'd take a walk from my house to like the store, he would do a thing where he would be like, I'd be like totally, I could tell I was full of like spirit and stuff when I was around grass and trees. And then as soon as I wasn't, it was like really sort of heavy and none of that walking on air stuff. And he'd be like, see the difference? See the difference in you when you're camping? Yes. Well, for me, it's like my entire life, I understand myself. Just, I was like really weird when I was young, and I didn't really talk with people. So I clearly sort of like didn't forget when I first got here. And I was always talking with him when I was little, like putting on little plays, and I knew he was always listening. He must have been talking to me, but like my perceptions then was I knew he was always listening to me. So I was clearly talking to myself. I clearly had quote unquote imaginary friend, and no one in my family knew it. But yeah, that is sort of like striking. I'd be walking around the outside of the house doing it, constantly in a conversation with him, and they didn't even know it. Talking about wanting to go and study primates, and people's psychology, explaining it to explaining to me people in the family, so that I would understand why they were doing things, and I wouldn't take it personally. It helped a little bit. I still got wickedly messed up by it, but it did help a little bit to be in that type of a communication with God. I just remember being like looking out a window in my bedroom going, why did you send me here? I specifically remember that because the abuse was so bad. And I felt like, well, why on earth would you send me to this horrible family, this horrible place? So, and then I got angry and I didn't want to have any more dreams and stuff. And it went into sort of just like regular, um, but clearly just a really depressing, still having a constant dialogue basically with myself in my own head. And most of it became negative, and I became very ill with anorexia and bulimia for like 5 years, 5, 8 years. So It's not a good thing to, like, tell a person like me to stop talking to myself or stop talking to God so much. I have to have time to be doing that. I can engage the more you stop me from doing what I do, where in the morning I type and I do live streams and stuff, the more you stop me from doing that, the more difficult it is for me to engage in conversations with people. Just so you know that. It doesn't work the other way. So if you're doing that stuff to children, I'll help you to stop doing it. Okay. Like once I have an adequate amount of time, what I'm doing, then when I'm talking to people, I can really listen to them. Whereas before, I'm sort of half listening and stuff because I'm not able. It's like that internal network is still going on there until at least a rebirth because of the amount of abuse I've suffered from birth. Yeah, like it's clearly not completely gone. And then I have so much stress in my life, and I'm so used to like doing this and having some time where I'm like um, listening and talking, and then I listen to the videos because some of it is informational to me, and I can sort of be like, yeah, that seems good or whatever, or no. Um, so, yeah, if you have someone in your life that you feel like they're not paying attention to you, make sure they have enough time by themselves. And if they're usually jogging or taking a walk or going to the gym or something, make sure they're still doing that because that's why they're doing it. Yeah. And then if you sort of when they start talking with you about how much stress they're under and what's going on with their life and you don't want to talk about it and you try to switch the subject, like maybe you think that you're supposed to distract them from that. You're not. Right, it's not depression where I'm constantly like talking about nonsense and negativity and downing myself. Right. So if you have depression and that's something that people do with you, so you think that's something you do, I don't have depression. Okay. It's not good for me to bottle all that stuff up all the time. Okay, because then I will just constantly be in my own head. I'll be distracted all the time when you're talking because I'm still thinking about it and worrying about it. Yeah, I don't have like running thoughts, so it once I talk it out enough, then it goes away, especially on my walk. If I go on my walk, I'm yelling in my phone. Yeah, like if you like real familiar with me and then I leave for the day to take my walk and I come back 2 hours later, 3 hours later, you'll probably notice I'm in a much better mood. I'm in a better mood. I can listen to what you're saying. I can engage in things. I can sleep better. So I see a star and then I see an airplane. And then there's another star over there. Oh yeah, I didn't see a bunch of my squirrels today. Maybe I just wasn't paying attention to them. Hmm. I mentioned that some of them, I don't know about squirrels. This is just, I noticed at Wampatuck. Whatever was doing that. Ooh, oh my God, I just remembered I had a dream about like a wildcat or a bobcat or something. I just remembered. I don't know if it was last night. I think it was the night before. Unless I'm mixing it up with the news story I saw, but I think it was a dream. Right? I went, oh, that's what it is. It's a bobcat or something. But anyways, I think we figured out it was actually like two birds or like an owl and something or a raccoon and something. They were there the very first night going, and then it would be quiet and it would get closer to you and do it again. And then you'd also hear like that, like, like it's some kind of bird. And then it was gone. And then, like, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 days later, all of a sudden they did it again. So they move around. I don't know. Do deers make noises? I should look it up. because there was definitely a deer there too. Pearl Hill's the one with the coyotes. That definitely sounded like coyotes to me. Two separate nights. Or someone is real good at mimicking coyote noises, or they have like an amplifier, something. I know it's so weird. You just go, is that a person doing that? You're just so used to, after being in a city like that, you're so used to just constantly listening to traffic and stuff. I can hear a motorcycle. Like, yeah, you can definitely hear the road from here. I knew that the road was closer here. I remember that when I went in that maze thing that I can't find now. Imagine that. I went through a maze and now I can't find the maze where they put it. And it goes to a golf course. It's probably like on the other side or something, where the other loop, like maybe the C loop. I'm pretty sure, didn't I take pictures of the entrance where you enter the thing and then there's a house and I meet a whole thing? And I don't know if it was this lake, but there used to be like a campsite right there. And I ran up it a couple times. Yeah, that definitely was Massasoit. That wasn't Wampatuck. The thing is, when you get on one of those trails and it loops around like that, okay, you got to do it again. And every time you do it, you go faster and faster and faster. It's fun, trust me. Especially when there's like inclines and stuff on foot. Oh, I'm down to 15% battery. Suppose I got to take the thing out of the bathroom. I guess I'll go to the bathroom and get my charger now. Leave this here. If you ever go to a site, right, that has one of these things, just be careful when you leave the thing open, because I even just walked right into it when I have some light here from the bathroom. Okay. See, that's the bathroom. It puts light over here, so this site never gets completely dark like it did at Wampatuck and Pearl Hill. It when you're moving around, right? There probably is something that's absolutely perfect, but like all three of those things have pluses and minuses. I've noticed that I'm definitely much more inclined to go and wash the dishes a lot because the wash station is right there. That's what I heard at Wampatuck. Is that an owl? Watch someone's probably like, you better get in that tent. There's two of them. One's coming from over there and one's behind me. I did cook chicken tonight. You think that's an owl? Maybe it is only coming from behind me. I thought the first one was over there. That's what I heard at Wampatuck. But then there was also something that was going. Hmm. There's a road. The dumpsters are behind me. Yeah, the dumpsters are back there. Yeah, see, there's definitely two of them. Uh-oh. Not exactly. I'm not exactly afraid of them, but that they might pop out here because they're not afraid of me. Yeah, there's definitely at least two of them. Okay. I am going to my tent right now. Babe, open up the tent, please. You don't hear that?
Wait, the owl?
It's a. You think it's an owl? Yeah, it's more than one. First of all, hear that?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's at least two of them, and there might be three of them, not one. And I was like, I figured it was an owl too, and then I started getting a little bit nervous because I wasn't sure. It sounds real close too, doesn't it? Hope I didn't forget anything.
You didn't say that.
I did, yeah. I wanted to have another one, but then that stuff started. Yeah. Maybe they're meeting or something because it's definitely more than one. When you're sitting out in the chair, you can tell. First, it sounded like it was over there, right? They're probably communicating with each other because then I heard it here. And then it's one here, and then there's one like right there. It's definitely not coming from the street. You can go grab it. The tent's right there. See? That's not one animal. That's two animals. I'm not gonna keep that off forever. I got the thing on, and then someone can tell me if that's an animal or not. Because that's what the same noise from Wampatuck, right? There was something doing that, and then there was also something going, and I don't know if that was a raccoon making that noise. I forgot to tell you too, babe. I just remember when I was talking. I'm pretty sure that was a dream and not something I saw on TV. Like I had a dream like last night or the night before that I was like watching something, and all of a sudden I go, "Oh, it's a bobcat or something." Like it was like those small ones. What are those called? Bobcats? Hmm. I can look it up after when I shut my live stream off. Look up on YouTube here this noises. It's probably an owl, but like it's kind of cool because of this two owls. There's definitely two of them at least. I'm like, those aren't coyotes, right? It's not like I'm afraid of them, but I am afraid of them, I guess, because I can tell that they're not afraid of me. I've had them come close to me before, and I just sit there. Usually, they don't scare me. Yeah, because they don't do that before they just pop. They just pop up. They're always wicked quiet. In Quincy Center, they did it. One did it. Well, first in like 2010 or 11, I saw a huge one in my backyard, and I didn't know what it was. And I was like, it looked kind of like a fox, like it had a fox's tail, but it was tall. So apparently that's a coyote. There was one in my backyard, and it like was looking right at me from my like lanai, and it was there for a while, and then it just left. It didn't do anything. Then in 2019, when I came back from Albuquerque, I was sitting on a bench outside the Stop and Shop in Quincy Center, and that's like a wicked busy highway. And all of a sudden, there was one right at the standing at the bench, but it looked like a baby, and it was just looking at me. The same thing. They don't like advance on me. They don't growl. They don't bark. They'll just stand there looking at me. And then it ran off into the Stop and Shop parking lot. So I like tweeted the Quincy police, and I was like, you need to come to Stop and Shop because there's like a coyote here, like to protect the coyote." And they actually came. Yeah, I don't think a coyote's ever gonna hurt you as long as you're not doing something fucked up and you're not like. Well, this is the only thing I could ever see, but I'm not even sure they would do this. Is if you were wandering around the woods and they had like a den with their babies or something. That's about the only time I could ever see a coyote doing anything to anybody. Yeah, like I just don't hear about coyotes just attacking people, and they're always in cities and shit, and they're not doing that. There was one recently where I'm pretty sure it was a coyote, but the kid was doing something to it. Yeah, you can't be like taunting animals and like shit like that. Yeah, you can't be like on their territory or taunting them or going anywhere near where they are nesting their kids and stuff. You can't do that. This isn't 2008. The animals don't care about your jails and stuff. All right, I'll put the show back on. I'm gonna have to shut the live stream off because I'm in the car now. So I think Brian wants to listen to me yapping on the live stream. Let's see. I do this every time. How do you shut it off?